Solve your financial needs by reading books. It's that easy. My name is Carmen.
And I'm Darius. And reading books isn't just for a good story. It's also very educational, which, I mean, a lot of people may run from because of, high school, college. You have to read a lot of books. But it's also helpful for your finances. For Carmen and I, it was very helpful when we first got married to read books and get on the same page financially. And by doing this, we were on the same page through thick and thin.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have to preface, because prior to my college days, I wasn't really into reading books. And even after my college days, I was like, I am done. But it wasn't until Darius and I, like you said, had to get on the same page, and I just needed answers. And the very first book that I picked up with regards to finances is Dave Ramsey's Complete Guide to Money. Now, we know that we kind of differ as far as our philosophies are concerned, but I feel like Dave Ramsey does a really great job of giving people a solid foundation of just being aware of their spending and how to budget and understanding how to balance the checkbook. And that's what I really needed at first. That's what helped Darius and I at first, which was just understanding how to manage our finances that came in. And so for us at that point, it was just mastering that. And I really feel like, again, this book, The Complete Guide to Money, really helped Darius and I just get to the same table where we could have a conversation and it wasn't heated. It was, at first it was heated, but then it became collaborative as we started to recognize that we were trying to move towards the same goal. So yeah, I helped.
I would say some of the foundational principles that we learned from Dave Ramsey is some of the ones that we still use today.
Yeah.
Reason being is, it, like you said, it gets us on the same page, and it allowed Carmen and I to get out of debt. The first time we got out of debt. Yeah. It allowed us to get out of debt completely until we decided to get a business, and things kind of changed a little bit for us. But I think Dave Ramsey was the first book that we read together that really put us on the same mindset when it comes to our finances as a couple.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a perfect segue, because book number 2 is The Secrets of Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Like you said, Darius was saying we got out of debt the first time. So what we recognized what was missing was the mindset piece of things. Like, we were so quick with the numbers and we got everything done and we got our spreadsheets cleared, but then we had to fix the mindset piece to keep us out of debt. And that's where we felt that The Secrets of Millionaire Mind really helped us just to have a different snapshot and a different respect for money and a different approach for how we utilized our money. And that's why I felt like T. Harv Eker really just helped to get into my mind, into my psyche, as far as the things that I've been taught. Why was I taught that? How do I process that information? And how does that affect my transactions moving forward? I felt like that was a real game changer for me.
Yeah, one of the favorite parts in that book is where you talk about your financial thermostat and what it's set to. I know, based on my upbringing and where I came from, my financial thermostat was set differently from what Carmen's financial thermostat may be set to, coming from a more city life or a more diverse group of people around you. And having that understanding is one thing to see it, but it's another thing to read it in a book and then kind of put yourself in a position and really start thinking about, okay, how does this apply to me? And I think Secrets of the Millionaire Mind really had us start to evaluate our thinking behind how we spend money and why we're in the position we're in the first place. And that's one of the reasons why I really like Secrets of the Millionaire Mind.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then also too, I think each book that we're sharing with you is like how we've leveled up our finances, right? So with Dave Ramsey, he gave us the foundation. T. Harv Eker helped us step it up with our mindset. And I even feel like as we're growing, especially for couples out there, as we're growing together, it helped us also recognize where each other were coming from. Because before, we were just looking at a spreadsheet trying to balance the checkbook, right? But now we recognize, as we start making financial decisions together, where Darius might be coming from or where I may be coming from our childhood. You know what I'm saying? When you have those kind of conversations, it's a different play, because we recognize that sometimes the things that we're programmed with, those things can be ingrained deep, and we have to work together. Or even if you're working, solo, you have to work on that and be able to understand why you're keeping yourself from doing things or why you're doing something that might be hindering your progress as it pertains to your financial freedom.
Yeah, one thing we learned throughout our financial journey is it's really important for us to be open with each other. And when we do have some of these shortcomings financially, we're aware of it and able to have a conversation about it without feeling a certain type of way about it.
Yeah,
it's easier said done than now. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
Especially
we're
now.
10 years in marriage. Yeah.
Still, yeah.
But it's funny. I say this perspective too, because it really makes you hone in. Like, you can be like, remember when Jimmy stole your lunch money in 8th grade and that made you feel a certain way? Like, you can have those conversations to make that person recognize, like, oh, yeah, that's maybe why I'm not trying to, just do this and that. But it's very specific. You can get as specific as you want with this. So moving on to book number 3. Mm-hmm. That is Become Your Own Banker by Mr. R. Nelson Nash. Now, many of you already, if you're subscribed to the Wealth Nation channel, amazing. If not, this is basically what we teach, is how to utilize your whole life insurance policies to finance your entire lifestyle. And so R. Nelson Nash really dives deep into this book. And in fact, we don't even consider this a book. We consider it a workbook where we go back every single year, read it differently, read it from different perspectives, because we get something different every single time from this book. And really the perspective that R. Nelson Nash comes from is just trying to understand, or just trying to get the reader to understand that you're going to do these things anyway.
Yeah, you finance your life anyway. Mm-hmm. So why not finance it yourself and pay yourself the interest?
Yeah. Well, you're going to spend money. So it's really imperative for you to know that if you're going to spend money, we are never taught how to get our money back. And this whole book tells us how to get our money back, because at the end of the day, we're so used to using all the other financial products that are out there, and we're okay with giving our money away. But with Becoming Your Own Banker, it's about ownership, and it's about recognizing that if you're going to spend your money, you need to put a different respect on your money, and you need to be able to understand the tools that you can utilize to spend your money and to get it back. And that's where I feel like this has been a game changer for our financial journey, and just being able to share with the world what it is that we do. Because once we got out of debt the first time and then got out of debt, it got back into debt the second time, we were like, wait a second, okay, but something's wrong. And using our whole life insurance policy, actually we'll link that video up here, is how we used a whole life insurance policy to get out of our credit card debt.
Yeah, and the important thing to understand with this book is when you go to apply that book, whatever mindset that you have going into it is the mindset that you're going to have with how you utilize it.
Good point.
And for us, we wrecked our system in the beginning because we still had some of that mindset of kind of like a mindset that I don't have to pay myself back. If it's my money, I don't have to pay myself back. But what happens, or what you come to really understand, is that you have to treat your money the same way you would anybody else's money. Mm-hmm. And it's really important for us to be organized going into it, so we know where do we want to start applying what we learn in this Becoming Your Own Banker book, mm-hmm. and how we're going to use it to put ourselves in a better financial position moving forward, and even for the next generation. Yeah. So it was really important for us to have the experience with Dave Ramsey, with the Total Money Makeover book, and with T. Harv Eker's book prior to reading this book or applying this information, is because it's really important for you to be organized and understand your financial mindset prior to the application of infinite banking.
Very good point. And even going back to like the first book we were talking about, Dave Ramsey, our philosophies differ slightly, is because once we got to a certain point in our financial system, we recognized that we didn't want to save our way to be millionaires, or that just didn't look like financial freedom for us. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to be able to have our cake and eat it too. And once we kept expounding our mindset to fit more information, to fit more content and more complex ideas, that's how we were able to level up our financial education, is because there's so much information out there, and it doesn't have to be a one size fits all. Like the books that we're sharing with you, right? We're taking bits and pieces from everything that has been exposed to us, and we're making it work for our financial household. And that's what you have to do, is to recognize that whatever you you are trying to do for your household, you have to make it work, and you have to figure out what are the solutions, what are the products that are going to allow you to make things work, because everything is figure outable.
Yeah, everything is figure outable. And the next book that we want to recommend is Profit First. This was a very important book for us, especially when we initially started our business and actually organizing our business financially, so that not only do we have money set aside for ourselves, which profit first, but we also had money set aside for taxes. And I think a lot of time when it comes to starting a business and you start having income coming in, you're not exactly sure what to do with it. But then at the end of the year or the following year, Uncle Sam comes knocking and you may or may not have the funds. This book really set us up. I'm pointing at the book like you can see it. This book really set us up for success and being able to articulate what we need to an accountant. We were organized enough to be able to talk to an accountant because of what we learned in this book and what we applied from this book.
Mm-hmm. Now, before we go forward, definitely click on the link below if you are interested in getting a whole life insurance policy to finance your lifestyle. That is everything that we do on the Wealth Nation channel, and we are so encouraged to empower you all to maintain your financial livelihood in whatever fashion makes sense for you. Mm-hmm. What I want to say for the Profit First book is I feel like this was key, especially for beginner business owners. And I say this specifically because when you start a business, you don't know how to run your finances. If you're not running your household finances, you ain't gonna run your business finances. Let's just be real, right? And we get all this money coming in and we're thinking that we're doing good, and then taxes come and it's like, wait, how much do I owe? or just how to work with payroll, how to work with your basic like utility bills for your business. Like, how do you manage all of that, and how do you keep it going? So Profit First, I felt like, again, was the amazing foundation for, I am a new business owner and I'm trying to get my stuff together, and being able to understand like how to organize your finances. He does a really good job talking about how to basically put all your money in different buckets for that visual, using different accounts for different operations, so to speak, and just how to move forward. And I feel like this is such an underrated topic that's out there, is because everybody's like, start a business, become financial free and start a business. But how do you run your money business? Hello. Nobody's really talking about that. I get money. Now what do I do? And so that's why for us, it's...
Well, he talks about it in this book. Profit First.
Exactly. Profit First. Get Profit First. I also want to say this is not sponsored. We are just genuinely sharing from our heart the things that have helped us, because we feel like, it doesn't do us any good to sit on this information. We need to share it so that you all can go get some knowledge. I mean, how cheap is this? What is this book? $20? I mean, change your life with $20 if you're trying to understand how to run your finances. I can't stress enough. Get the information from Mike in this book, and then get more information from another author. And who knows, if you want Darius and I to write a book, let us know in the comments. We'll have to conjure up some stuff. Go ahead.
Now, the key thing to understand is both Carmen and I, we mentioned the application of it, because it's one thing to read a book and form an opinion, but you get a different understanding of the information once you start applying that information too. It hits you a little differently. So the reason specifically why these books work for us is because we use the information that we got out of it. It wasn't just a cup holder or just something to make our library look good. We actually use these books to better our financial situations for ourselves. Mm-hmm. So make sure you apply the information once you read it.
I'm so glad that you said that, because it's one thing to be like, yeah, I read books, but it's another thing to apply the principles. And I just can't stress enough how much information is found in books if you just take the time to invest, to read. And I'm speaking to myself, because I was convinced that I wasn't going to read books. I wasn't into it. It wasn't my thing. But I picked up one book after the other, and it just created this curiosity in me to be able to learn more things. And like Darius was saying in the beginning, books don't have to just be about stories. You can find so many valuable nuggets inside books if you just take the time to learn, even financial books. And financial books don't have to be boring. That's the other thing too that I want to put out there, because all of these books that we've listed I didn't think any of them were boring. They were page turners to me because I was like, I cannot wait to find out what happens on the next page, because that means I'm going to change something in my financial trajectory that's going to allow me to do the things that I want to do.
Right. So the books that we recommended was Dave Ramsey's Complete Guide to Money Makeover. The second book is T. Harv Eker's The Secret to Millionaire Mind. And then we also mentioned Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. And lastly, it was for beginning business owners, Profit First.
So if you want to read any of those books, we will link them below. And also, if you want to join the Wealth Nation, one, to have a whole life insurance policy designed for your financial needs, or to be able to join our community so we can have some more juicy conversations about money, then definitely click on the link below.
And if you want more information on how we actually organize or how we manage our finances, check out our next video where we talk about how we manage our finances.
And don't forget to own your own lifestyle.
Or someone else will.